Thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel. This video is happening because of you. You were kind enough to subscribe to my channel and help me reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers. And because of that, my extremely kind, supportive wife has agreed to go all the way out of her comfort zone and rate Marvel Snap cards. She's amazing and I love her deeply. She is also not an extrovert the way that I am in any way. She's extremely introverted and very camera shy. So this is a big deal that she has been willing to come here and rate cards. We just finished it. It was a ton of fun. That was a lot of fun. So thank you for the suggestions. Enjoy it. Please let me know in the comments what you think of her rating. Another video will be released later. We haven't done it yet, but we'll play a match in friendly conquest against each other. Now that she knows a little bit more about Marvel Snap, it was a lot of fun. So thank you for being incredible people and an incredible audience that I felt comfortable bringing my introverted wife to. Like, she was very nervous and she asked, like, are they nice? And I said, yeah, I feel like I found one of the best audiences on the internet. Everyone has always been very kind to me. So I appreciate you being those types of people that I feel confident extending your generosity and kindness towards my wife, because this was fun. We really had a lot of fun rating cards. So without further ado, enjoy my wife's rating of the Marvel Snaps cards and take her valuable wisdom and insights to heart, because she definitely thought about some of these cards the right way, which is fun. So thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for helping us reach this milestone. This is my wife, everybody. She has reluctantly but very supportively agreed to rate Marvel Snap cards because we reached 1,000 subscribers. So I'm going to explain some context of Marvel Snaps, where she is not a video gamer. Like, her video game experience is Mario Kart and Monkey Ball on the Wii. And then as far as card games go, I would say like the closest thing to a card game that you've ever played is Bang.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever played Bang,
I do like Bang.
That's a lot of fun. So there'll be here, scoot closer to the microphone. There'll be a lot of comparisons to Bang in this as I try to explain card abilities. So if you know Bang, maybe you can tell me if I'm doing a good job comparing it. But so this is all for you now, Daisha. I'm talking to you. So 4 things to understand about just the game of Marvel Snap is that there are 6 turns. So obviously there's turn 1, and then there's turn 2, and then there's turn 3, so on and so forth, right? So there's 6 turns. So over 6 turns, this is for me. This is a microphone for me. So over 6 turns, you are trying to beat your opponent, who also is having 6 turns. And like, it's not like Bang where like you would have a turn and then I have a turn and then you have a turn and then I have a turn. Like, we have turns at the same time. Kind of like War, where you flip over your cards at the same time. It's like that. So each turn you get 1 energy. So I'll show you what energy is in a second. But on turn 1 you have 1 energy, and on turn 2 you have 2 energy, and on turn 3 you have 3 energy, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Up to 6. So what you're hoping to do at the end of 6 turns is have the most power, which I'll explain, which is like the biggest number, in 2 of 3 locations. So I'll show you locations here in a second, but there's 3 of them on a board. And what you're trying to do is get more power than your opponent in 2 out of 3 of them. Okay, so it's just math. Like, you have the largest numbers in 2 out of 3 of them, and then the cards that you play with, there's 12 of them. You get to pick what 12 they are. There's no like duplicates. Like, you can't have 2 of the same card. However, in a game, you generally only draw 9 of your cards. So there's like 3 that you'll never see, 3 or 4 that you'll never see. Okay. So like, you could put it in your deck, but you could never play it because you don't draw it. If that makes sense. So you can hit next on the screen on your right. So here's some examples of some cards. So like, the energy thing is important. So this blue number on the left, like this 2 on Falcon down here, is energy. So he cost 2 energy to play. So if you want to put Falcon on the board, you have to have 2 energy. So you could not play him on turn 1. You could play him on turn 2. You could play him on turn 3. Yeah, exactly. Right. And so those are all energy. So like, on 6, you could play a 6 energy card, or you could play a 1 and a 5. Like, you don't have to just.
Does it have to add up to the turn?
Like, no, you use that energy or less. So like, you can use at most 3. So like on turn.
But it's beneficial to use.
Yeah, you want to use your energy. Like, especially if you can, in most situations you want to. But like, let's say on turn 3, the only cards you have in your hand to play are this one, Black Panther, the Infinite, and Falcon. The only card you can play is 2, so you're gonna like waste 1 energy. because you can't do anything else. Does that make sense?
And highest energy of the turn wins?
Highest power. So that's the other number.
Okay.
So the other number in orange is the power. So like Falcon costs 2 energy to put him on the board, and he will add 3 power to that whatever location he's in, he'll add 3 power to it. Does that make sense? So this one costs 5 energy, and it will add 5 power. So
are you gonna help me, or am I just?
So is this making?
Wait, am I? Oh wait, I'm writing the cards.
Yeah, you're writing.
Okay.
So I'm explaining how the game works, so you understand in what context the cards work. So the orange number is the power, which is what you're trying to beat. Like you want more orange numbers in your location than your opponent does. It doesn't matter if you put. Well, actually, show you in a second. It doesn't matter how much they cost, whether they cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 energy.
That's a great one.
Well, so each of these cards have like certain abilities, like they do things, like they don't just sit there doing nothing. But I'm just trying to use them as examples. So it doesn't matter how much energy you put in a location, as long as you have more power than your opponent. That's what matters. So here's some examples. So here's the 3 locations. So like left, middle, and center, right? And so it doesn't matter, like, is in this example, this person, your opponent, so like these will be your cards, and then your opponent will be up there at the top. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter that this opponent played 1 20 power card that had 6 energy. Our cards add up to 21. And so we win. Even though they have 1 card that has more power, we have more total power. So we win.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So, and it really doesn't matter. So here's an example. This guy played 20 power over here and 5 here, but we played 6 and 3. Even though he has 25 power and we only have 9, because we have more in 2 locations, we win. Like he has 0 and we have 3, so we're winning this one, and he has 5 and we have 6, so we're winning this one.
So it's spread out.
So we win. Yeah.
That's confusing.
So we win.
How do you know where they will place it?
You don't. So like you're taking you're like on turn 3, they're also doing turn 3. You don't know where they're going to put your cards. Yeah, but then on turn 3, like turn 3 will end, and then both of your cards will flip over. So you'll see what they do. Like you'll see what they do on turn 3 before you do turn 4, and so on and so forth. So it really doesn't matter their total energy. Like they've got 25, good for them, and we've only got 9, but we got 6 where they had 5, so we win that one, and we have 3 where they have 0.
Wasn't great.
Well, it kind of depends. So it just matters. Like again, it's not total power. It's so like this is what a turn looks like. So you'll have cards in your hand. Here's your energy. This is saying, because you're on turn 1, you have 1 energy. So this guy can't do anything because they all cost 3 energy. Do you see that? So this is what it looks like. If he had a card that cost 1, he could just drag it onto the board. And then your opponent's going to do the same. You'll hit end turn, and then it will reveal your cards, and then you'll play turn 2.
Okay.
So you'll know what your opponent's doing throughout the game. Does that make sense? Like each turn. So like you'll both decide, what am I going to do on turn 3? And then your cards will flip over. They'll see what you did. You'll see what they did. And then you both play turn 4. Yeah, exactly. So that is the basis of the game. It's really, this is like the most important thing, is you just want more power in 2 out of 3 locations, and you win. So this guy spent 25. And like, here's the other important thing. We only spent 4 energy, and they spent 5 and 6 energy, right? So they spent 11 energy, and we only spent 4. But we had more power in 2 out of.
So it's not just the power of the card; it's the power of the collection of cards.
Yeah. So like this, like these cards are all less than that, but together they're more, so they win.
So then, how do you define the quality of one card?
Exactly. So now that you understand how the game works, we're gonna open up the game. So here we go. So here is all of the cards. There's tons of them. Okay. Now I got to get my list over.
Aesthetic doesn't matter.
No, that's just for fun. That's the fun part of it. Like, that's just for fun. Does that make sense? So personal preferences. Yeah. So we'll start really, really simple with simple cards. So we're gonna go. Where is he? Okay. So here's your first card. He costs 2 energy and has 3 power.
Wait. I feel like you should rate it too, but say after.
Yeah.
You are going to?
Yeah, I will afterwards.
Okay.
But so this is a card
that you can play on your second turn.
On your second turn, or you can play it on your any turn after that, and it adds 3 power to your location. That's all it does. It just adds 3 power.
And I don't know the specialty powers of any of them.
You will. So this little text down here where it says "I'm going to blast you." Those are their special powers that they have. This card has nothing, so we're starting with a simple one that doesn't have any
Oh, okay.
ability. But other cards do have an ability. They'll do something when you play it. This is just a free power card.
Okay.
So what do you think? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give Shocker?
Well, how high do the powers go? Like 20?
20, that card you saw that was 20, that's like the highest power. But there's other things that can get higher than that. But like with their special abilities, they can do things that get higher than 20.
Yeah.
But like raw numbers, that one is the highest.
Well, this gets 3 power out somewhere in one of the rooms. Pretty early on
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah.
So that's got to be like a 6.
A 6?
Well, I don't know how good the cards get, so I don't
Yeah.
know what.
Yeah, that is hard. Like you're starting from nothing.
Well, like if they get way good, then this might be lower. Maybe a 5.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do 5 because maybe I don't know.
Do you want me to give you my ratings at the end?
No,
of the
tell me
full video right
now.
now?
No, tell me now.
You're like thinking right that like getting power out early is a good thing. You like generally cards that cost less but add more power are better. So you're absolutely thinking the right way. However, like I didn't mean this as a trick. I was trying to start simple, but like other cards do things that are much more significant than adding 3 power. So like Shocker isn't really worth it because he doesn't really do anything.
Oh, so not a 6.
No, so I'd give him like
4.
a 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
that low?
like he's pretty.
Okay, I'll
pretty bad.
reevaluate.
But that's mainly just because he doesn't do anything. Like just because he doesn't do anything.
So you would never choose him for your deck?
Only in like very, very specific
Okay.
situations. Like a special game mode that's like not the normal game, high voltage, the one I told you about.
Mhm.
The one that Alex recommended my video to people.
Oh, yes, uh-huh.
That I had him in that deck.
Mm.
Because it was like a special
Well,
circumstance.
see?
So like
He's
yeah.
part of a winning deck.
Yeah, I mean it's true. So maybe he's a 4. And yeah, in his niche, I actually think he's pretty good. So I'll give him a 4. Yeah. I can agree with you
He's
on
a
that.
good companion to other cards.
Yeah, that's actually probably the best way to think about this.
Maybe I'm an overthinker. I'm an overthinker.
You don't
It's
even
gonna be
know
hard.
the context of what you just said, but you were so right. Like he is a good companion to other cards. You are very right. Okay, I'm gonna change this to alphabetical so that you can scroll. So that now I'll like see how it's you understand alphabetical. Okay, scroll down to H. And then find Hulk. He's right there. 6, 12. You see him? Okay. So Hulk, here's another card. He doesn't do anything. He's just 6 energy, 12 power. Similar to Shocker, he doesn't have a special ability.
And you can only play it on the last turn?
Yeah. But he adds 12 power.
Yeah, that's a lot of power to blast out at the end. I don't know what the specialty powers are. Like, how good are the other cards out there?
Do you want to skip these and go to the other specialty
Well,
powers?
I kind of need to know what I'm working with.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I guess okay, you know what? I'm overthinking this, but I'd have to see how gameplay works.
Okay.
Like, do people want to end with a bang? Like, this seems like an end with a bang type of guy.
It is, yeah.
So I would say probably better than the last one.
Yeah, absolutely better than the last one.
7?
Oh, really? I'd give him like a 5 or a 6. Like he's not that much better.
Okay.
And you are thinking right. It's because like you don't know what else is happening, but you like the reason that I'm also trying to show you these cards is because I'm like trying to expose you to the game so you understand it. Like you're right. Like that last turn when you have the most energy, you do want to do something big. So you were thinking about him, right?
Because then you surprise your opponent.
Yeah, you surprise him. Like you're also adding, like you could be losing and suddenly you're winning on the last turn because you added 12 power. You know, like you're like 5 power behind the whole turn, the whole game, and then on the last turn now suddenly you had 12. Like that's a big deal. So you are thinking about it, right? Okay.
I think I should create a deck.
You should actually. Okay, scroll down to S. Keep going. We're gonna find Spider-Man. That's next one. Oh. Spider-Man. Yeah. Okay. So now
what was the other one?
That's a Spider-Ham is his name.
Oh,
so now we're getting into cards that have special abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing to know of is see how this says on reveal. that is just a type of ability that means when you play it. Like
Mm-hmm.
when it flips over, do this thing. Like similar to like in Bang, like when you play a Bang in Bang, it just goes like it just does its thing when you play it. That's
Uh-huh.
what on reveal means is when you play this, it will do this thing. So it says move to another location and pull an enemy card from here to there. So like remember how there's 3 locations?
Mm-hmm.
So like let's say you play him in the
You're
middle
moving your opponent's card.
and this one. Like let's say you play him in the
Mm.
middle, he'll like swing to either the left or the right, and then one of your opponent's cards that was in the middle, he'll also move there. And he's also adding 4 power to the board.
So like if you see a card that's lower than that of your opponent, you grab the opponent's, pull them over with this, and you win that area.
It could be, yeah, you are thinking about it right. It could be any card. Like he could move the Hulk if he wanted to, if that's one of their cards there.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to move to an area if the other card's going to beat you.
Yeah, yeah. But you don't know where he's going to move. He just moves.
Oh, you don't pick where either of you move?
No. Can
you do both move in the same room?
They both go to the same location.
Oh, okay.
And you get to choose where you play him. Like you can choose left, middle, or right, left, right, or center, and like he'll move one of the cards from wherever you play him. Like if you play him in left, he's gonna move one of the cards from your opponent that is in left. Like he's not gonna move a card from right. Like you get to choose what he's targeting, but you have no idea where he's gonna end up.
Wait, but do you stay together?
Yeah. So you like
yes.
He moves. Let's say you play him in left, and he moves to the center. He'll then move an enemy card from left to the center.
Okay. So the reason you would want to use this card is to weaken someone's total power in an area.
Yeah. You're really thinking about it right. Yeah.
This is kind of like Bang.
Yeah, actually, it's a lot like Bang. So this is kind of actually finish what you rate it, and then I'll give it like a comparison.
Well, he himself is not very powerful. Well, like as a card,
yeah,
minus the superpower.
Yeah, 4 is much less than 12.
Yeah.
However, remember Shocker, the first guy, he only had 3, so he is more than that guy.
Yeah, I rated him too high, for sure.
So what do you think?
Well, I feel like I need to reset the scale. Like,
yeah, you can do that. We can throw out your Hulk and Shocker.
Yeah,
ratings. That was a learning curve.
Let's just reset.
Fine. Yeah. So what do you think? Having reset, what do you think about Spider-Man?
Well, then maybe they'll get way, way, way better.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't want to start too high.
I'll clarify. The first 2, I picked like generally pretty low rated cards. And now I'm just doing random. Like I'm not starting low and working high. Like those are just the first 2 to get started. Now it could be this is really bad or it's really good. They're all going to be intermixed.
I personally wouldn't love to use this guy.
Okay.
But I can see the perks.
Okay.
No, according to the new scale.
Yeah.
5.
You're gonna give him 5?
Yeah, what's yours?
On the new scale, probably like a. What is that on? Gotta convert a 5 on a scale of 5 is 2.5.
Wait! You're going out of 5.
I know. I had to that's the way my brain thinks about it. But
wait, no, go out of 10. That's out of 10. I think he's 5 out of 10 on like a.
I'd probably give him like a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Really close to you. But what you said is really smart. Like you do use Spider-Man to disrupt your opponent. Like sure, the 4 power he adds to the board is cool.
He's not an attacker. He's kind of a.
Well, he is like an attacker in that like he's messing up what your opponent's doing.
Yeah, but it's just not a direct.
It's not like boom, here's a bunch of power.
Like he's just not. He himself is just. I don't know. It's like a secondary attack.
I'm trying to think of an example. Like the way that you would use Spider-Man is similar to how you use like how when you're in playing Bang and you're trying to like that your opponent has a lot of misses. So you play the Gatling gun first, so they have to play their misses, and then you play their Bang.
Yeah.
Like you use the Gatling gun to like disrupt their ability to block your other moves.
The surprise strike.
But like, do you get what I'm saying? Where like you use the Gatling gun to weaken them, and then you shoot them instead of shooting them first and then playing the Gatling gun. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of use them that way, where you're like, I'm trying to.
Chair. Do you want a chair?
That actually might be smart.
Yeah, grab a chair.
you're trying to like disrupt what your opponent is doing. Let me go get a different chair.
Okay, what letter am I going? How do I go back?
Go down here where it says escape.
Okay. And which
Go
letter?
find Sage.
It's Billie Eilish's sister.
Why?
I don't know.
Why is she Billie Eilish's sister? Because the way she's dressed?
Oh, I don't know. She's got a green eyeball.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, so her ability, she has 3 energy. She costs 3
Zero
energy, but
power?
0 power. However, when you play her, it's +2 power for each different power among all other cards here. So she makes you do math. So like you got to think like
2 plus power for any of the other powers in the same
that
room?
have to be different. Yeah. So like let's say the Spider-Man example, and then Hulk. Let's say there's a Hulk and a Spider-Man there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 2 cards that have different powers, so she gets 4, 2 for each of them.
Those were each 2 power?
No, the Hulk was 12 and Spider-Man was 4. But because they're different power, there's 2 cards with different power. She gets +2 for each of them, so she gets +4. So now she'd have 4 power. Or like as an example, if there were
2 different cards. So if there's 3 different cards that aren't a 0, then it's
they have to have a different power amount. So like yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So like if
so if there's any that have like 2 and 2 power, then you only get 4.
You only get 2.
Or sorry, 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And
well, that's kind of just a wild card.
I'll say that it also counts your opponent's cards too, not just yours. So it like potentially you can have
So you could combine it. Or you can so you want to put it in a location where you already have cards too, or where your other opponents play cards.
You were thinking about this the right way. Okay. By the way, I meant to say this earlier. In each location, you can have at most 4 cards. Once a location has 4 cards in it, you can't play any more in it. Like it's full. Can't do anything else. So at most, she could count 7 other cards. So she could potentially, if there were, because it's going to count your 3 and your opponent's 4, hypothetically, which that's rare that like a location is full like that. But let's say it is. She could hypothetically get +14. Like so now she's bigger than the Hulk.
Yeah.
Now she's 14 power and she only costs half as much as the Hulk and is bigger than him. However, the chances of that happening are pretty rare.
I'm going to rate her lower. That's a fun identity to have. But that isn't an identity I'd want on turn 3 because all the cards aren't laid out. Like that would be better at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it was turn 6, that would be super fun. You know right where to put it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
you
more
were thinking
predictable.
about this so right. Yeah.
So I would say that's a solid 4.8.
4.8? Really? Okay, you gave Spider-Man a 5, and she's a 4.8.
No, remember that was the old scale.
No, Spider-Man.
Oh wait, was that the last one?
Yeah, that was the last one.
And I gave him a what?
A 5.
Yeah, I think I liked him better than
really?
Him. Yeah.
Okay. I personally give her much more than Spider-Man. I'd give her like a 7 or 8 out of 10. However, you are right that like you definitely want to play her on the last turn or as late as possible. So you kind of have to have like other.
Oh wait, you can play her on the last turn.
Yes.
Duh. Sorry, I was thinking you could only play her on turn 3.
Oh no,
that makes her a lot more powerful. That's what I was saying. Is if you play her on the last turn, that's very powerful.
Knowing that you can play her on the last turn,
that ups it.
What would you give it now? I know you heard
6.
my rate. You'd give it a 6.
Yeah,
okay.
for real. Because that's because I was thinking that would be a really powerful card on a turn 6.
Yeah. Wow, you're smart. Well, I already knew you were smart, but yeah, 6 is probably fair because like. Yeah, that's cool. You get to play it on the last turn, but like sometimes there's last turns where there's only like 2 cards in a location. So cool, you got +4. So like it can kind of whiff sometimes.
Yeah.
And you definitely like if you're playing this on turn 6, you can't play a Hulk. So like you're kind of sacrificing by playing this. Granted, you could play like you could play this in Spider-Man on turn 6 if you wanted to. But so yeah, I think that's a good rating. You're definitely thinking about it right. Okay. Now scroll down to. We're going to skip this next card. Just go to I and find Iron Man. By the way, the next card that we're skipping was Mr. Negative. We'll save him for later.
And are there more cards than what you have here?
Yes, I don't have all the cards.
Where's I?
You got to keep going.
H-I. Where? It should be right here. Oh, Iron Man?
Yeah, Iron Man. Right there. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't looking. Okay. So now we have to introduce a new ability. So see how all the others were on reveal, meaning when you played it, it did something. Iron Man's ability, see how it says ongoing? That is similar to like a barrel in Bang, where it's like it's just there and it's always doing its thing. Like if you have a barrel, anytime someone shoots you, you get to flip a card over. Like it's just always happening.
Yes, okay.
So ongoing means it's just always happening. Like
it's like a
like it's just so his ability, your total power is doubled here, meaning that like on turn
wherever
he is for the whole game, he will double the power of what you have. So if you have a Hulk in there at 12, he'll double it to 24.
Including the opponents or just your own?
Just your own power.
Just your own.
So like if you have 12 in there with Hulk, he'll double it to 24.
So you want to combine him with powerful cards?
Yeah. Obviously because he's 0, so if 0 doubled is 0. So you definitely want other cards in the location you put him in.
Well, and you create your own deck.
Yeah, you get to choose.
So you'd want to pick this guy with some powerful cards.
Yeah.
And that could be a good deck. Total power is doubled.
Yeah.
So if you pick a 20 power card,
it would go to 40. Yeah.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah.
That's a ton of power.
That's a ton, yeah.
But remember that power's not always like you were saying something about that. Like
well, I mean,
because are there cards that can deplete your power? Like
you're so smart.
Because I feel like you don't.
I was gonna save that for later, but yeah, there are cards that can like get rid of your power.
Because if someone can just destroy all that power, then
yeah, you are actually thinking about this so smart.
If everyone's
super, no one is.
Name that movie.
The Incredibles.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I'll explain more on that later, but your opponent can mess with your stuff.
Right off the bat, I don't know much about all the other cards. That seems pretty powerful, especially creating your own deck.
Yeah.
And if you know how to play him and you've had practice playing him with high cards. I don't know what else is out there, but I'm thinking maybe an 8.
Yeah. I was going to say 8 or 9.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite cards in the whole game.
Really?
Really good card, yeah. I mean, but you're right though, like you got to play. You don't want to play him like with Shocker, who's only 3 powers. Like, oh, cool, you spent 5 energy and you got 3 more power. Woohoo! Like, you don't like You're right. You do need other cards that he needs to double. But when you pair that up when making your deck, it's really good.
Yeah.
Well done.
And if you play it turn 5, that's scary to an opponent. That's scary to pull
it actually
out.
is. That is so true. Like when your opponent plays an Iron Man on turn 5 and you're like, great. They have another turn, 6 energy. What are they going to put there? Because it's going to be doubled. Like that is generally the location that you really have to think about when your opponent plays Iron Man. You're smart.
That's so hard to know what the other person's going to pull out.
That's the challenge of the game. Okay, scroll to K. We were really close. J, K. She should be right here. Kitty Pryde, the green one. Okay, so she costs 1 energy. So you can play her on turn 1. And her ability says, when this returns to your hand, it gets +1 power. And it will return to your hand at the start of each turn. So let me explain.
6 power?
Hypothetically. But the thing is, you have to play it every turn. So you're going to spend 1 energy on turn 1. And then at the beginning of turn 2, it will come back. So if you want to play it again, you're going to have to spend 1 energy on turn 2 a second time. And then it will come back. And then
I don't like that.
You don't like it?
That's a lot of effort, low reward.
Yeah. Without knowing the synergies, like what else you can do with Kitty Pryde, that is the exact way to think about it. And in fact, in some decks, that's exactly what she does, is low effort, or a lot of efforts for a very, very small reward. You're thinking about it, right? Yeah.
3.
3? Okay. I think that's really reasonable without knowing the other synergies. I'll tell you that there's a lot of cards that this one goes really well with. And in fact, this is also one of my favorite cards in the game. In fact, the video I just made about it.
Because it's guaranteed power?
Yeah, like you always know what you're going to get from Kitty Pryde, but there's also like cool things that can like add to her power so that when she like, you can manipulate, like you can do a bunch of other stuff. But you are right that in order to benefit from Kitty, you have to jump through a lot of hoops. Like, and the thing is that sometimes you don't draw those cards, you don't get to jump through the hoops, and it's like, cool, I played a 6 power card for 6 energy.
Yeah.
Like, so you're right. I would personally give her like a 6 or a 7. Like my personal rating is probably like an 8 or 9. One of my favorite cards in the game.
You've created a solid deck with Kitty?
Yeah, in fact, the video I just made. that had a 60% win rate, included Kitty.
Maybe I should go watch it.
You should have informed. But like the way you're thinking about the card, spot on. Like, so I do like you're right.
And you don't have to always agree with me.
I mean, no, I'm being serious. Like I think you're wrong. It's a much better card than that. But knowing what you know about the game, you're thinking about it the right way.
Okay.
Okay. Scroll down to H.
H is up.
Oh, up. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. I was thinking energy-wise. I was like, okay, find Havoc. H-A. Oh, right above him. Right there. Havoc. Okay. So this guy has end of turn, meaning just like when the turn ends, right? So at the end of the turn, you lose 1 max energy, and this gains +4 power.
Wait a minute.
So let me explain. This is kind of confusing. So he costs 2 energy. So let's say you play him on turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
On turn 2, you have 2 energy. Normally, next turn on... Normally
you only
on...
get 5 turns.
That's how you would think about it initially. Everyone thinks that with the card, but the way that it works is that it takes the energy that you gain. So like if you played on 2, you had 2 energy on turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
So now on turn 3, it would say, oh, you had 2 energy last turn, we're going to give you 1 more. So now you have 3. But he takes the one that you just gained. So you stay at 2 energy the whole game.
Oh.
So like, but the thing is, if you play him on 4, then you'll have 4 energy the whole game. If you play him on 3, you'll have 3 energy the whole game. Like, so he'll like whatever turn you play him on, you will not have any more energy than that.
So what does that do? I don't understand.
So the thing is, by taking away your energy every single turn, he gains 4 power. So if you played him on turn 4, as an example, you would have 4 energy on turn 5 and 4 energy on turn 6. But he would go up to 4, 8. He'd go up to 12 power for 2 energy.
But I don't understand. You can play him at turn 2, 3, 4, 5,
or 6.
So you lose 1 max. I'm like not understanding.
Okay, we can skip it. This
wait, wait. Just I want to get it. I want to get it.
So, if you play him on turn 4, you on turn 5 instead of having 5 energy, will only have 4.
But what does that do? Like,
and you can't play the Hulk. Like if you had the Hulk.
Like you can't play a 5 card. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Wait, so you lose energy. Like you can't do as many things. I see your other cards are limited.
Yeah,
I understand.
But the thing is, he gains 4 power, which is a lot.
So you're gaining a lot of power, but you're also limiting other areas.
Okay. Yeah, like, and the thing is, to help you out with deck building, like. Obviously, if you choose him, you're not going to put a 6 energy card in here.
If you play this right, you don't need all that energy if you know how to play him right.
Yeah.
But you got to know how to play him right.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. You could introduce a deck with him in it with that. And that would be a good introduction to people who wanted to play him.
So when am I going to play you? Is the question.
We will.
Okay.
Not tonight, though, because it's late, but... So what do you rate him out of 10? This is kind of a complicated card. I apologize. I'm kind of throwing hard stuff at you. No, which are doing great. The way you're thinking about it is awesome.
You lose 1 max
energy. So you're right. Like if you play him on 4 on turn 5, where you normally have 5 energy, and you could normally play Iron Man. Now you can't.
Gains +4 power on top of whatever's there. Or
yeah, wait. He will gain +4 power. So if you play him on turn 4, at the end of turn 4, he will gain 4 power and go to 4. And then on turn 5, at the end of turn 5, he'll gain 4 more power and go to 8. And then at the end of turn 6,
so this is only worth it if you play him early on.
Yeah, if you play him on like the last turn, he's a 2/4. Like he'll cost 2 energy and give you 4 power on the very last turn because he only gets to do his thing once.
Yeah, which could be in one area if someone's not even in an area.
That could win you the location. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
So what do you think?
So like all cards are beneficial to some degree.
Well said. More people should think like you that play Marvel Snap.
It just depends on the deck, honestly. Like, yeah. I want to rate decks.
Okay. Maybe that's our next video. So here's an example. Remember Kitty Pryde?
Because I don't know his potential until I see what he's up against.
Remember Kitty Pryde? The card that costs 1 energy and to return to your hand each turn? Mm-hmm. She usually goes with him.
Oh, so then you're doubling. Like you're
like oh, I can't play I can't pay expensive high energy cards, so let me play low cost ones.
I think this could be this could be fun. This could be a fun card. I'm not saying he's like ultimate power, but he could be fun.
So what do you rate him?
6.5.
Wow, that's really good. I'd probably give him like a 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Everything you said about him is right. He is very fun. You are limiting what you can do. So when you build a deck, you got to be really self-conscious of that. You got to be really strategic. In fact, I can show you. He is one of my favorite cards to play. One of my favorite decks from a subscriber is this one. So see, like, none of my cards cost more than 3.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So, like, I'm going to play him, and I'm not going to be able to play 4, 5, or 6 powered cards because they're all 3. Does that make sense? So that's
wait. Is this a trend that you have someone that doesn't play the game rate cards?
I mean, I've seen other creators do it. Oh. Yeah, they had an.
Did they do a deck one?
No, but maybe we should do that. Maybe we should be a trendsetter. Okay, let's keep going. This is taking a while.
Oh, sorry.
No. Like, I feel bad for you. I know you have stuff to do. I'll edit that out, but I know that you have stuff. Okay, here's your next card. So similar to Iron Man, it's ongoing, meaning it's all the time. If he's on the board, it's happening. So his ability, ongoing. Your other cards have +1 power.
Wait, but other cards, it happens all the time if they're on the board too. Like, yeah. Oh no, I see what you mean. Like, every turn, this guy isn't.
Like it's like it's always happening. I mean, like, so like the on reveal cards. Like, let's say there was an on reveal that said on reveal your other cards have +1 power, and you played that card on turn 4. That means any card on turn 4 gets +1 power that's on the board. Where you could play him on turn 5, and then you play another card on turn 6. That card you played on turn 6 will get +1 power from him because it's always happening. However, it doesn't happen like each turn. It's not like, oh, you played him on 5, so cards get +1, and then on turn 6 they also get +1 more. It just means the whole time they're always getting +1 power from him. Any card you put on the board, even if they're put on the board after him, they're just going to get 1 more power. They'll just all have 1 more.
Yeah, total. Okay.
Total. Like, it's not like each turn they get 1 more. It's just they just get 1 more.
Just each card. Yeah.
Yeah. Just will always have 1 more power.
Your other cards have +1 power. That's decent. I'm trying to think. +1 power, and you've got 5 other cards.
Yeah.
Well, you said you have a lot of other cards, but you only use.
You're generally playing. Oh, it's complicated. 9-ish cards, 9 to 10 ish.
Your other cards have +1 power, so that's maximum. That's only gonna get you total, like +5 power, like.
So like
it's only adding maximum of 4+5.
4 power to a location. Because you have 4, let's say you have a location that has 4 cards in it, and then you play him, that location just went up by 4, because each card in that location got 1 more power.
Oh, and it's just in whatever location he's in.
No, it's the whole board.
Oh, okay.
The whole board, right? So you could play him in the left, and your cards in the right they'll each get +1, so that location will go up +1 for however many cards are in it. You're gonna give him a 4? Really? You don't like him?
No.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh man, this is a card that's actually kind of hard to rate. Like, he's very niche. Like, you don't just put him everywhere. However, the decks that want him, he's really good in. I'd probably give him like a 7.
Is he in winning decks often?
Yeah.
I can't.
He's in fact, there's a big deck that's really prominent right now, a Doom 2099 that he's in.
I don't want to see his potential. I'm doubting.
So here's the thing that's kind of tricky is you were thinking about this the right way. Like, you have to have cards on the board to get benefit from him. Like, if you only played 3 cards the whole game, you only got +3 power from him. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
But there's other cards that add cards to the board beyond themselves. Like, there's a card that says when you play this, add another card to each location. So like.
Oh.
So like now you're kind of cheating. Like normally,
now you're getting.
Normally you'd only be able to get 9 cards on the board, but with that one now you can get 11 cards on the board. So now he's getting more. So valuable.
It's all about knowing combinations of cards.
Generally, yeah, especially for a card like Blue Marble. Yeah, he's not really valuable on his own. He's got to be with other stuff.
He's another good companion.
Yeah, actually, really well said. Okay, so he's 5 energy and 5 power on reveal. Double this card's power.
On reveal, double this card's
meaning
power. 10 power?
So he goes to 10.
On reveal, double this card's power. Just in one area, like
Just him.
just him.
Like he goes from 5 to 10.
Doubling. That seems great.
Yeah.
I'm liking that. 8.
Okay. Let me get your wheels.
I would like that. I would
Okay.
like that card.
I agree with you. I'd probably give him.
Unless someone obliterates your power somehow with some card that I don't know about.
Yeah, that's the right way to think. Like people could do things to your card. So like when you play him, he's only at 3 power instead of 5, so he'll double to 6. Does that make sense? Like they can mess with your cards.
Oh.
However, you can also do stuff to your own cards that like when you play him, he's 10 power already, so then he doubles to 20. Like you can kind of mess with stuff. Does that make sense? Like you can add power to him, so like you really thought about this the right way. It's not necessarily the 5 power that's a big deal with him. It's the doubling, because you can do stuff to make the doubling even bigger.
Yeah, double just sounds aggressive.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'd say I'd give him an 8. I agree with you. Well done. Okay, scroll all the way down to V. Vegeta's. Okay. Venom. Where is he?
Oh.
Okay. So his ability, when you play him, he will destroy your other cards here and add their power to this card.
Destroy your other cards?
I mean, like he'll eat them. Like so, like let's say you played. I'm trying to think of one of those cards. Let's say.
He just adds power to that card. Like they combine
to himself. Like let's say you have Spider-Man in a location and you play Venom there. He's gonna eat Spider-Man. Spider-Man's gone. Poof. He's off the board.
But he absorbed the power.
But he got the power from Spider-Man. So Spider-Man was 4 power, so he'd go up to 7. But Spider-Man's gone now.
Well, I personally would want the power just separated more than combined, because if the other player is attacking, they can mess with a card, then suddenly it's not as powerful as 2 separate cards, because like I would just be worried about like I think he could be more trouble than helpful, depending.
Okay.
I wouldn't risk it with this dude.
Okay.
4.
You give him 4?
Yeah.
Okay. I think in like normal situations, he's a 4. However, one of the things you don't know is that there are some cards that like want to be destroyed. Like some of them say like when this is destroyed, double its power. Like so like some cards want to be destroyed by Venom. So but the thing is you got to play Venom with that other card. You know what I mean? However, what you said about him like merging your card's power is so smart, because you're right. Your opponent can do stuff to your cards, and it's much easier for them to do something to one card than it is for them to do 2 things to 2 cards.
Yeah, because they don't get as many moves and don't. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that.
It's more risk, higher risk.
That's true for Venom, but that's just true for cards in general. Like that way of thinking is very, very smart. Like you're setting yourself up for potential trouble depending on what your opponent's doing.
Oh, okay.
So well said. Okay, so now this is one that somebody suggested you rate. Scroll down. He's in there in the bottom right.
You got suggestions.
Yeah, I asked people what you should rate. Yellow Jacket. See that guy? So he costs 0. So you could play him on turn 6 with the Hulk, because he doesn't cost anything to play. He's 0 cost.
Oh, you could play him like with someone else.
Yeah, and the thing is, it doesn't cost you. It's 0 energy. That's what the 0 is.
So it's basically an extra card for free.
However, when you play him, he will give your other cards their -1 power.
Oh.
So if you played him in a location that was full, that had 3 cards, so he's going to add 2 power of his own, but then he's going to afflict the 3 other cards with -1, so you got -1 power overall. However, if you play him in a location that's empty, there's no other cards there, then he doesn't afflict anything, and he's a free 2 power.
So he just... I don't see his benefit.
Okay.
One.
I agree. What you said, I don't see his benefit, is very true.
It's just like You're doing more harm than good.
Exactly.
Really.
There is absolutely one circumstance that I actually feel like he could be valuable. For people watching, if you're playing Isan, you want Isan out early, you want to ramp him, you can play Yellow Jacket on your Isan so he can't be destroyed by your opponent. Like, 1,000 IQ level move right there. But
I hope people don't spend a lot of money on this dude or
no, he's free.
Or
he's
a
free.
lot of whatever.
Yeah, he's free. Yeah. There's a reason that he's at 1.
What is it? Coins or something?
Credits.
Oh.
Yeah. Tokens, keys. Yeah, he's not very good. So good job. Okay. Let's see some other cards we can do down here really quickly. Scroll up a little bit and go to V. Actually, yeah, right there. Valkyrie, the blue and right next to Venom. Yeah, Valkyrie. Okay, so Valkyrie costs 5 energy, and she's 3 power. And when she's played, all cards, meaning yours and your opponent's, will go to 3 power. So if they're at 0, they go up to 3. If they're at 12, they go down to 3. They all just go to 3. Everything. Hulk, Yellow Jacket, Iron Man, Black Panther.
Is there one where you get a bonus if there's enough cards of the same power? because she could be catastrophic for your opponent if that was the situation. Because if there, that is what I would want to use. What's her name? Valkyrie?
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me show you this. Okay.
I'm telling you, I need to rate decks. I'm at level 2 now.
Okay.
I think I'm at level 2.
1, she can be very, very catastrophic to your opponent. Let's say your opponent played a Hulk, and you're like, your Hulk that was 12 power is now 3. Nicely done.
You hurt your opponent.
So here's the cool thing. This is just like a cool combo that it doesn't always work. But let's say you play Valkyrie, and you turn all of your cards and all your opponent's cards into 3 power. So now you're tied. Right? Let's say you both have 4 cards. So that's 12. You're just both at 12 power. You tie. Nobody wins the allocation. But you have Blue Marvel, who gives all of your cards +1 power. So they got set to 3, and then they get +1 from Blue Marvel, so they're at 4. So your opponent's got set to 3. You are also got set to 3, but then you have Blue Marvel that gives them 1 more, and now you win. Like, so it really, really can be.
That just throws a total wrench for your
opponent.
Yeah. That's
okay. What you blew? The reason that I reacted.
Wait, I didn't rate her.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Did I?
No, you didn't rate her.
That could be so fun with the right combination. I would say 8.9.
8.9. Wow. You're in the right combination. I agree. She's like a 9 to me. I
was gonna say 9, but I
don't have the deck anymore because
I don't know if she can be, if there's any like drawbacks.
There are
potential risks with her.
I mean, it's just like cool. Like if you don't have the other things, like if you don't have Blue Marvel, it's like, okay, cool. You just tied a location. Like you prevented them from winning, but you also didn't win yourself. Like, so the thing is, I don't have the deck anymore, but one of my favorite decks to play that in most decks, she's kind of useless because like this card is 5 power. You don't want to reduce it to 3. You want the 5 power. This one's 8. You want it to be at 8 power. Like you don't want to reduce your own power in most situations. So
does the game let you suggest cards?
What do you mean?
Like, can you
like tell the developers that I want to? Not really. Oh. You got an idea?
No.
So here's the cool thing that you like blew my mind with. One of my favorite decks to play that in that deck specifically, she's like a 10 out of 10 card, is this one that says ongoing, your highest power cards have +2 power. So like, let's say you have a Hulk down that's 12. That's the highest power card you have. So now it goes to 14. Well, here's the cool thing. If all of your cards are the same power, they all get +2.
Oh, that's incredible.
This deck, Cerebro and Valkyrie is what they call.
But how do you discover all the cards? How do you remember all the cards that you have and how they all?
It's tricky because you got to be thinking about what you're doing and what your opponent is doing. But Cerebro is one of my favorite decks.
And what if you pick a strategy that totally goes against like the other opponent totally thwarts your whole strategy of your deck? That
absolutely happens. There's like certain cards, and then there's counters to those cards that like, oh, I'm going to play this deck. Well, this card that my opponent could play could shut down my whole plan. Like I haven't shown it to you, but there's a card that will like turn off any ongoing ability. So it's like, cool, I got Cerebro, and then I Valkyried a location. So now all my cards are at 3, but they are getting +2. So now I'm winning that because my opponent went to 3. I went to 3, but then they all get +2. So they're all at 5. But then your opponent plays a card that turns off Cerebro. And so now they don't get the +2. So like,
wow.
they really can mess you up. Cerebro isn't a very good deck, sadly, but Cerebro and Valkyrie combined is genuinely one of my favorite plays in the whole game. So when you said, like, is there a benefit to having your cards all the same power? You like blew my mind that you would be thinking about that. So that was pretty cool. Okay. Let's scroll back down again. We'll be quick. We'll just do a few more. So just a few more cards. Here's one. He's 5 energy and a whopping 14
Ooh.
power, like really huge. However, he will give your enemy cards plus 2 power. Each card. So if they have a full location,
Ooh.
they got plus
Wait a
8
minute.
from you. Enemy cards here, meaning the location you played him, have plus 2 power. So if
But wasn't there one that says it doubles, like, if you played him with the one that doubles your power? Remember
With
that?
Iron Man?
Remember
Yeah.
that guy?
Iron Man?
What
Yeah.
if you have enough to double your power, it doesn't matter if your opponent gets a little bit more power.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's a good way
he
to think about
he
it.
could set you up good if you combine him with something extra powerful.
Yeah.
I think he'd be fun to experiment with.
Yeah.
7.8.
Okay. He is very fun to experiment. You're right. Like he's a challenge to play.
Yeah.
And so if you want to play him, you gotta use your noggin, which is fun.
Yeah.
However, he's not very good all the time. Actually, I take that back. There's a deck that he's in right now that's it's potentially the #1 deck right now, and he's in it. So I think a 7 is reasonable for him. If like in the situations where you want to play him, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. Scroll down a little bit to we'll go one more. Go down to Victoria Hand, and then we'll go to. We have 2 more after this that are suggestions. So this it's hard. I have a lot of favorites, but this is potentially my favorite card in the whole game.
Were you supposed to tell me that before?
No, I am telling you that before. I'm trying to influence you for good or for bad. I don't know. But so her ability, she's a +2 or 2 energy. So you have to have 2 energy to play her, and she adds 3 power, which isn't very significant. However, her ability says your cards that were created in your hand have +2 power. So very, very like niche. Similar to Blue Marvel, where it was like any card that you play will get +1.
Mm-hmm.
This is saying any card that you created in your hand.
What does that mean, created in your hand?
Meaning like when you start the game, you have 12 cards in your deck, and then you'll draw them, and they'll be in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's other cards that do special things that say like add 2 cards to your hand, and they'll be like new cards that they're like. So now where most people like where normally you'd have 12 cards to play with, now you have 14 because you added 2 more. So like
so it's just those additional ones.
Just those additional ones that you create. So the thing is, you have to, in addition to playing her, you also have to play the cards that create cards. So there's a bit of a restriction there. I might be helping you out too much, but it's important to understand with her.
Well, you'd have to be smart to play her.
Well, thank you. I'm just kidding.
Am I rating if I would like her, or if
just in general? You think like if somebody's like, "Hey, Daisha,
I'm talking to some brain savvy people out there.
If somebody in the comments was like, "Hey, Daisha, is Victoria Hand a good card? Should I spend my resources on her?" What'd you say? Would you be like, "She's like a 5 out of 10"? What would you say?
That's powerful across the board, and you want to win. Like you want power across the board.
Yeah. Wow, you are like really thinking about this the right way. Like the way
you say that every time.
Well, because I'm just impressed. Like the way you analyze it is really the way that you have to analyze the card. Like her impact.
You did influence me, but 9.
9?
Yes.
Really?
Well, you influenced me, but
okay. Without my influence, what do you think? Like,
well, it's still kind of a 9 because that's just generalized power, and and you want to spread your power out. Look at the way you said it goes in the different locations, and she's a great one to do that. But you have to know how to play her. So I think that, and people out there do know how to play her. So
yeah, I actually think I agree with you that she's a 9. I think that a lot of people sleep on her, that they forget how good she is. However, there are situations where like you don't ever get to draw the cards that generate cards in hand, so you're kind of like
a waste.
Yeah, then she is a waste. So she's kind of like high potential, like high risk, high reward type of thing ish.
Yeah,
not totally, but I agree with you. Let's give her a 9. She's one of my favorites. Okay, so now to the 2 cards that were suggested by
Scarlet.
No, we're gonna ignore that. So these were the other 2 cards that people suggested. These are like the final boss cards. They're kind of hard.
Ooh.
Scroll all the way up. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that. Scroll all the way up to A's. So this is a big deal card. Oh,
I am very curious what
right
people
here,
are going to think of my analysis.
The 7 one. No, down one more. Right there. Erishim. Okay. So he has 7 energy and 7 power. So remember, you typically
7?
Yeah.
There's only 6 turns.
Exactly. But his ability, at the start of the game, he will shuffle 12 new cards into your deck. So you'll start with 12 cards that you picked, and then when the game starts, he'll add 12 more. So now you have 24 cards that you could potentially draw. And on turn 3, he will give you +1 energy. So like normally on turn 3, you'd have 3 energy, but he gives you 4 energy on turn 3, and 5 energy on turn 4, and 6 energy on turn 5, and 7 energy on turn 6.
So a lot more cards are played. Like, it's just a lot more cards in the...
Because you have energy, but you're also like, you're getting random cards because there's 12 random... Like, you get to pick 12, but now you also have 12 random ones that you could draw.
That... If I were playing to win, that would not be my choice. If I were just wanting to have fun, experiment, kind of just see what cards were out there, or like even just get good at the game, he would be fun to experiment. But that is not a winning card. That's just, you're gonna get, you just can't be as strategic. I don't know, right? Or like you just don't, you have less control.
Yeah.
So I would want more control. So, who is it?
Erishim.
He's going to be lower on my scale.
What do you give him?
3.
Out of 10? 3?
Yeah.
Well, that low? Wow.
Yeah,
I'd probably give him out of 5. We're the same. He's not my playstyle. Some people love him. Some people, like, he is a winning strategy for some people.
But isn't he kind of random?
Oh, absolutely. And whenever I play
him... It's just unpredictable.
Yeah.
And don't you want to predict your own success?
I like to. Some people don't care.
Well, he would be fun for that reason.
Oh,
like, if you just wanted to learn how to play and
that
you wanted to see what was out there.
Smart. Like, if you are new to the game and you're wanting to try new cards,
that would be a
great
great
card for that. Yeah, absolutely. You, again, thought about it really, really well. Okay, scroll down. Actually, we can just search. I don't know why we scrolled this whole time. Thanos.
Wait, tell people in the comments to say if they agree or disagree with our ratings.
Yeah, people got to agree with the ratings. Okay, Thanos. You know who Thanos is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The stones.
Here's our final. Yeah, the stones. They're actually really important. So he's 6 energy, 12 power. So similar to the Erishim guy, he does something at the beginning of the game where you draw Thanos, so he'll automatically start in your hand. So you always see Thanos in your hand. And he will shuffle the 6 Infinity Stones into your deck. So now, like, you started with 12, and then you gain 6, so now you have 18 cards. And here's what the stones do. The Space Stone is 1 energy, 2 power. On reveal, you draw a card. Like, it just draws a card. When you play it, you get to draw another card, which is nice. And then nothing can stop you from playing Thanos. So, like, sometimes there's locations that say, like, you can't play a card here. This stone would let you play Thanos there.
Remind me, how many cards you start out with?
12.
And how many of those, like, do you see or not see?
Oh, yeah, so...
Are they just shuffled and you just draw whatever one?
So you shuffle, so the game starts, your cards are shuffled. You draw 3 of them automatically. So you have 3 cards in your hand.
Wait. You shuffle, draw 3.
And then each turn you draw 1 more at the start of the turn. So you get 3, and then you draw 1, so now you have 4, and the game starts.
Okay.
So the interesting thing with Thanos is that at the start of the game, he draws himself. So you have Thanos, because of his ability, he does that. Then you draw the 3 cards that you draw from the game normally to start, and then you get your first draw from turn 1. So you start, where normally, without Thanos, you start with 4 cards in hands. With Thanos, you start with 5, and Thanos is the 5th one. Ignore that. I way overcomplicated that. But, so, like...
I didn't follow.
Okay, good. You can ignore that. That was, like, an unnecessary detail. Well, so let's go through the stones. So there's the Space Stone, which draws you a card and just lets you play Thanos wherever you want.
But drawing a card is not that beneficial, right? Wait, do you get to play the card? Like, or wait.
So
you get to see the card.
You draw it's in your hand, and now next turn you can play it if you want.
And you get to see it, though. Like, when you draw it, you see it.
Yeah, you see it.
Wait, so that is beneficial.
So it enters your hand, and then you can be like, oh, I can play that next turn if I want.
Okay, no, drawing a card is beneficial.
Actually, drawing a card, the best comparison I can make is to not the general store, but
That's way
Wells
beneficial.
Fargo, where it's like, oh, let me have
Drawing
more
cards.
options.
Yes, more
Like,
options is great,
yeah.
actually.
So you draw a card.
Because I was trying to figure out which cards you can see or not see,
Yeah,
which ones
so
are.
drawing a card, like, it just is like, oh, I want to see my options
Yes.
sooner.
Okay.
Because like normally a deck, it's like, well, there's 3 cards that I'm definitely not going to draw. I have
Nothing can stop you from
playing or removing Thanos, which is cool. Okay, so the reality stone. So in order, like, so this could be one of the cards you draw, or it could be one of the other 12 cards in your deck. This one just changes the location. So like it makes the location something new. This one gives Thanos -1 cost, and then you draw a card. So Thanos is normally 6 cost. He'll now go down to 5, which is cool. The other stone, the time stone, you'll draw 2 stones from your deck. So like similar thing, you're drawing a card, but like this will draw any card, where this will only draw stones. These things right here we're looking at. And then this one, if you played all 6 stones, Thanos has +10 power, meaning he goes up to 22. However, you have to play all 6 of them. And then this is the last one, you draw a card, and nothing can discard or destroy Thanos.
I feel like this is a trick question.
He is like a final boss card. Like, he's very unique what he does.
Can I ask a
absolutely
question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you like him?
Yeah, one of my favorite decks that I don't really play anymore was a Thanos deck.
Really?
I keep saying one of my favorites does so many things, but yeah, and I think I made a video about it. Agent Venom.
That is too complex for me.
Really?
That goes over my head. How do you have all those abilities in one card, and how do you remember all the stuff that you? How do you keep track of all that?
That is actually so legit.
Like, I would forget all. I would forget even the opportunities and all the strengths that I have with that.
Okay. So
for my brain type, that would be like a -1. For all the smarties out there. But potential wise. Oh boy. 5. I can't go higher. I just don't support.
Okay. Just because of the complexity of it?
Yes, too complex.
Okay.
How can anyone really keep track of all of those nuances?
It took a while. Like, this is interesting. This is like personal story. Thanos was one of the cards that when I first started playing Marvel Snap was like so cool. Like, oh my gosh, you can play Thanos. I want to play Thanos. And then I never had him. So it was like something I always wanted. And then I got him. Like, I saved up my resources to get Thanos. Finally got him, and I was thrilled. And then it was like, cool, let me play Thanos. And then I was super confused. I was like, wait a minute, what do all these? And like, it actually took multiple games to remember what the stones did, and like, so there it is complex. Like, you can't just pick up Thanos day 1 and immediately know how to play him. Like, there's a learning curve. Absolutely.
12 is a pretty good power to start out with, though.
Yeah.
Like, so he ends with a bang.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, especially if you play all the stones, he goes up to 22. Yeah,
that's I can see how other people would appreciate, but I just can't. I can't support.
Okay. I think that's reasonable. He's hit or miss. Sometimes he's really, really good, and sometimes he's really bad.
Yeah.
Kind of depends on what other cards are being played in the game.
How does he? What if your opponent has a Thanos?
They both just play Thanos against each other. Your cards don't really do, like my stone doesn't do anything for their Thanos.
Okay.
Thanos. So yeah, you give him a 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could understand that other people might appreciate him.
Okay. Well, that is a final card. Overall, what do you think of Marvel Snap? Do you feel like you understand what I do now, or is it just confusing?
I do. Yeah. I can see why you like it.
Okay. So, like, let me...
You like complex games. You like brainy games.
Well, if you have made it all the way to the end of that, and you have not already commented, thank you to my wife. Please do that. She is, I already know, going to read every single one of these comments. So nice things said towards her would mean a lot. This really was like completely outside of her comfort zone, and I appreciate her being willing to do that. So she's coming in here, give me a concerned look. Yeah, no, this is the outro. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I would appreciate it, and I know that she would have as well. But I'd also love to know what cards you were surprised. Like, what takes do you agree with her on? What do you disagree with on? What cards were you surprised by Rain on? Like, were you surprised that she got right? Did she give you any insights into your next game in Marvel Snap? Anyway, I really, really appreciate you watching, especially if you've made it to the end of the video. That was a long one. You are probably somebody who subscribed to help me to reach this goal, and I can't say thank you enough. This was really, really fun for me, and like content creation success and all the things that I've desired with that for a long time aside, that was a fun memory to have with my wife that I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for people like you helping me achieve what I am right now. So thank you. I mean that absolutely sincerely. So I don't know. I'm just going to keep saying thank you if I don't stop recording. So thank you. I'm going to stop recording now.